subscribe the channel. Press the red subscribe button and press the bell icon.
Out, tears things up, wants to force things his own way, driven by impulses to commit acts that verge upon insanity. Destruction of others. Natrum self has a strong impulse to destroy himself, our gentrum nitric amal, so, particularly by jumping from a height, but he avoids placing himself in such a position. He is oversensitive to the open air, to a draught of air, always chilly, always taking cold, and it settles in the nose and extends to the chest. Oversensitive to touch, to draught full of pains and aches. He sweats easily on the slightest provocation. Brain fatigue, neuralgias, on the verge of insanity, and this goes on to convulsions of single muscles and those of the whole body, muscular twitchings, weakness, trembling, and paralysis. This paralytic weakness and disordered state of the activity of the muscles and nerves are prominent. Another state running through Nux is that actions are turned in opposite directions when the stomach is sick. It will empty its contents with no great effort ordinarily, but in Nux there is retching and straining as if the action were going the wrong way, as if it would force the abdomen open, a reversed action. Retches, gags, and strains, and after a prolonged effort he finally empties the stomach. The same condition is found in the bladder. He must strain to urinate. There is tenesmus, urging the bladder is full and the urine dribbles away, yet when he strains it ceases to dribble in regard to the bowels. Though the patient strains much, he passes but a scanty stool. In the diarrhea, at times when he sits on the commode in a perfectly passive way, there will be a little squirt of stool, and then comes on tenesmus so that he cannot stop straining. And when he does strain, there comes on the sensation of forcing back. The stool seems to go back, a kind of anti-peristalsis. In constipation, the more he strains, the harder it is to pass a stool. In diarrhea and dysentery T, here is straining without relief, but as soon as he passes a little stool there is relief. In dysentery, Mercurius has the constant urging, Merc or tenesmus with great desire to urinate. Pains. The reversed action of the various functions shows the spasmodic nature of this remedy. Pains show T from the rectum up, burning. Neuralgias about the eyes, face, and head, neuralgic headaches. The pains stick and tear. They cause weeping, fainting. They burn and sting. Pains in the head and face and in the extremities, that sting and tear, but especially draw. Sensation of tension in the muscles, a drawing in the back like a pulling or tension in the muscles. The pain feels as if drawing, a spasm of the muscles, a drawing pain in the back, drawing pain in the back of the neck, forcing the patient to let the head go back, drawing pain down the spine, lumbago backache was as soon as she lies down, pregnancy, as if it would break, bryonia, phosphorus, as if broken, kali carb, must get up and walk. Neuritis with great soreness of skin, pains in the regions of the kidneys and liver, pains draw, so that he cannot turn over in bed, and the only way he can get over is to lift himself up by his hands and then turn over and lie down, and drawing pains in the sacrum and hips, drawing pains in the sacrum in connection with dysentery, rending pains in the bowels and every part. In causes desire for stool, which is the characteristic of all the abdominal pains. Drawing pains in the extremities, causing spasms in the calves, feet, and toes. Cramps in the abdomen cause desire for stool. After pains in the form of cramps, urge to stool. Menstrual colic, with the urging to stool. Pains in the stomach, after eating, urge to stool. After much straining no stool passes, but after going several times a small stool passes. With relief it is scanty and with reversed peristaltic action. Oversensitive to stimulants, it too a routine remedy in men trying to sober up. Even in delirium tremens, old debauchees, broken down with stimulants, sexual excesses and the worry and fret of business, they work half an hour and then go out and get a drink, and this goes on until finally they must give up, go home and go to bed. He is on the verge of insanity, irritable, fatigued, sweats much, is aggravated from the air, sensitive to noise and light, broken down. He must have Nux, rest and no stimulants. In those drinking too much tea, coffee and stimulants, they stay awake day and night until the end must come. There is tension in all the nerves. He feels as if he must fly, as if he could no longer hold together. His muscles and hands tremble. There is jerking of the limbs on going to sleep and in sleep. Full of anxiety, despair, and hypochondriasis. Oversensitive to impressions. All the senses are in this condition, cannot bear reading or conversation, irritable, and wishes to be alone. Everybody displeases or does something to annoy him. Everybody that attempts to soothe only anger him. He dreads the business affairs of the day. Finally this state comes on. He quarrels, reproaches, scolds, insults from jealousy, mingled with unchaste expressions, soon afterwards howls and weeps aloud. Patient is broken down sexually because he is unusually endowed with sexual desires and he indulges until broken down, sexually exhausted, Impotent mental atheism but relaxation on intromission driven to suicide. Nux is an old dyspeptic, lean, hungry, withered, bent forward, premature age, always selecting his food and digesting almost none. Aversion it makes him sick, craves pungent, bitter things, tonics weak stomach, after meals pain in the stomach, nausea, retching, stomach sinks in, withers and loses flesh, hang for watching.